Okay, so today we learned about acrostic poems. We learned how to read them and how to write our own. We started off with my acrostic poem, Mrs. Fox. Mrs. Fox is really cool. She loves teaching us new things. For fun, she likes to run. Ordinary, more like extraordinary. XYZ, this is the end, you see. We went on to read an acrostic poem by Lewis Carroll about spelling out names. Reading this gives the students a perspective on how acrostic poems should be. Then we spelled out some poem adjectives. These are useful in case the students are stuck on trying to figure out words to use for their acrostic poems. Words like awesome, adamant, absurd, amusing, beautiful, big, bold, bad, cool, certain, clever, creative, dazzling, dark, dramatic, and delightful. The students pause the video frequently after each letter to create their own adjectives so they can use it in class. Then we listed some of our favorite things, mine being candy, dogs, cats, and ice cream. We created acrostic poems using the words candy, cat, dogs, and ice cream. This is candy. Crunchy, chewy, awesome, nice and sweet, delightful and delicious, yummy treat. Cats and dogs, I had the students pause the video and create their own poem using these words. This is mine. For cats, cuddly, acrobatic, tiny and tricky, softly purring. Dogs, delightful, obedient, goofy and great, sweet and playful. Here I explained to the students that even though the first word typically starts with the first letter of the adjective they're going to use, the second word does not have to, as long as the poem flows with the first word being the first letter of the adjective. And lastly, we did ice cream. Ice cream. Cookies and cream, English toffee, chocolate chip, rocky road, even strawberry, and almond fudge.
Now that we know the value of the penny, the dime, the nickel, and the quarter, and we know how much of them it takes to make $1, let's see if we can figure out some other values. If we have 14 pennies, how many cents do we have? See if you can figure it out in your head. Now, let's try and work it out together. If you have 14 pennies, that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cents is the answer. Next, we have 8 dimes. Now remember, dimes equal 10 cents. So if we have 8 dimes, how many cents would we have? Now, let's work it out together. So if 1 dime equals 10 cents, we start with 10. Then with 2 dimes, we have 20. 3 dimes, we have 30. Then 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. With 8 dimes, that equals 80 cents. Now, let's try with quarters. Now remember, a quarter equals 25 cents. So if we have 2 quarters, that means the first one is 25 cents and the second one is 50. So that means that we have 50 cents. The last one we're going to try is a nickel. We have 6 nickels. Now remember, 6 nickels equals 5 cents. try to work this one out. Now, let's work it out together. If 1 nickel equals 5 cents, then 2 nickels equals 10 cents, 3 equals 15, 4 equals 20, 5 equals 25, and 6 equals 30. So if we have 6 nickels, that means that we have 30 cents.
Okay class, today we're going to be learning about contractions. Contractions are a shorter way of saying what you need to say. Now the key point here is not to forget the apostrophe. It's very important. Now contractions are 2 words formed into one. So the steps are, the first word stays the same. So in this example of I am, I is going to stay the same. The second step is going to be the second word pops out letters. So in that same example, we're going to have the I am and we're going to pop out the A. The last step is an apostrophe holds their spot. So here we'll be able to see we took out the A and made it into I am. Our next example is she is. So we're going to be taking out the second part, the I, and replacing that with an apostrophe. So it's going to say she's. The third example we have is we have. And we're going to be taking out 2 letters instead of 1. So now we'll have an apostrophe replacing for 2 instead of 1 letter, giving us weave. And always remember the apostrophe goes in the air. So let's take a couple seconds or a couple minutes and figure these first 3 ones out here. Can plus not equals, are plus not equals, and is plus not equals. Take a couple minutes to see what you come up with. Okay, so these are the answers that we should have. Can't for can and not. So we're replacing the O with an apostrophe. For the second one, aren't. We're replacing that O with an apostrophe. But we're making sure we keep all the other letters. Is and not is isn't. Now I want you guys to work on these next couple ones. Was plus not, did plus not, does plus not. Always remember that any letters that you are replacing with, make sure you put the apostrophe. If you guys have any troubles, please review back to the beginning of the video on the steps of what to do with contractions.